Hello, hi Rajiv ji. This is Kamal here from Mera Sangeet, and warm welcome to you once again on our show Chat in Chai.
Thank you, Kamalji. Pranam. How are you?
I am very well, thank you, Rajiv ji. How about you?
All good, all good.
Yes, so Rajiv ji, last few days have been very, very busy. Everybody really, going out to vote, and then the election results coming out. So now we have Mr. Donald Trump as the 45th president of the United States, and lot of people really wondering how would it affect India and the people of Indian origin, if I can say, and especially people, the people who are looking up to immigration and immigration reforms or something which which would go in their favor. So, how do you think this election results would impact immigration for
Kamalji,
Indians?
I have fielded a lot of questions in the last couple of days on various aspects of immigration. But before we get there, let me very quickly go over the politics of the situation. Trump's
Mm-hmm.
victory was very unexpected. It really
Right.
surprised and even shocked a lot of people. His stand during canvassing, during the speeches he gave before he got elected, was extremely tough. And there were really the following components to his immigration recommendations before he got elected. Now, keep in
Mm-hmm.
mind that rhetoric before the elections, people say a lot of things. When they get into office, they discover two things. One, you are not representing just 10% people in this country, you are representing, as the president, 100% people in the country. So that's one thing you discover. Second thing you discover is that there are some practical issues. If you want to deport millions of people, it is not that easy, practically speaking. And third is that
Right.
you are curtailed by the law as well. President is a creature of the law, very much subject to certain rules, especially the Constitution of the United States of America. Just like UK, Australia, New Zealand, India, all these countries have a constitution that sits atop the government, makes sure that everybody in the government behaves according to certain broad norms. So
Mm-hmm.
Trump will have the same issues to contend with. One will be the political will as the president of all the people. Second would be practical problems. And third would be legal curtailment.
True.
So, as a practical matter, he said a lot of things. And there is an atmosphere of great apprehension as well as fear. My little sister was telling me her students in college were very, very scared. They said, now, should we be going back? And these are people who are legal in the United States. If they are Muslim or they are Hispanic, they are concerned about their situation. So I have been telling people, of course, that just because you're Muslim doesn't take away your right to live in the United States if you are here legally. But people who are here undocumented, who don't have documentation or legal status, I do not know what Trump is going to do with it. So when he proposed immigration agenda, one of the things was he was going to deport everybody who was illegal. Second, he was going to make it very difficult for people who came from terrorist affected countries to come to the United States. He was going to cut down on the refugees and perhaps political asylees. He was going to build a wall and he was going to be very tough on enforcement. Some of these promises or some of these intentions may not be fulfilled. But above all, remember everybody who's in this country, Trump is not the emperor. He is just the president. He's as much subject to the laws as anybody else in the United States. If he steps out a certain range of behavior, he can be called into question both in a court of law and in the court of public opinion. Don't think that just
True.
because Trump has won by electoral college. By the way, he didn't win the majority vote. He won because of the electoral college. And I think we as American people here in the United States owe it to the system to at least try to make it work. And I've been tweeting about this, and my my feeling is I I may not I dislike what he stands for openly, what he has said, but I cannot bring myself to insult the office. He is in an office which
True.
was chosen by legal process. So we owe it to him to cooperate with him, but that does not mean that we have capitulated. Cooperation is different, capitulation, surrender is different. If he steps outside certain norms, he will be called into question. So people who are here legally have nothing to worry about. People who are
True.
undocumented should know that it is not easy to just remove people who have lived here for decades. Let us see what Trump does to mend fences rather than create walls. We'll have to see. That said, I want to address certain specific issues. I want to
Right.
address, first of all, legal versus undocumented, which I just did. Legal immigration has its own unique issues and problems. I have been, like I said, answering questions. There was actually, let me see, Times of India had yesterday asked me to comment about the EB5 employment based green cards. Let me rephrase that. This is investment based green cards. And I told them, I said, I don't think we'll see much difference in EB5 based system under Trump. We might see some increase in the threshold amount of investment. Instead of half a million million, it might go up. But in any case, we have been, for businesses, Indian businesses, we never, or any businesses, Indian, European, Russian, any businesses who come to us, we haven't looked at EB5 as the main uh, option. In fact, any active business, we first look at the L1A, EB1C type green card. And if Trump administration looks upon foreign investment as desirable, which they should, and job creation and entrepreneurship, if anything, I
Right.
think we would see some good movement, positive movement. So I anticipate businesses who are creating jobs in the United States should have a good future under Trump. Now, I worry about one thing. Trump's supporters, some members of Congress, are very, very anti-immigration, legal or undocumented. So they don't really care. They think of immigration as being undesirable. But it is not possible for USA to survive without skilled immigration because we, the skilled immigrants, are very much the backbone of both research, professional services, and a third thing I should add also things like teaching, professors, researchers in colleges and schools. So it really is not possible for the government to just do away with visas like H-1B visas because they are extremely important to the US economy. So I'm hoping that we won't see something really, really bad in that respect. So business-based visas, I think, would only get better. That's the way I see it.
Okay.
Now, employment-based visas like H1s, I am advising all our clients to please be very careful with compliance. I know that H1 laws can be very complicated, but that's why we have lawyers. Make sure that you're in compliance because Trump administration, once they get their act together in the first quarter of next year, might be quite tough on enforcement because that's something they can do without having to write new laws or to create workforces or to create new positions. So I think enforcement, especially in employment compliance, will be a big priority. That's my judgment from what I see. So in employment based immigration, I see that happening.
Right.
In
So, Rajiv,
one moment,
actually,
one moment. Let me
yes,
finish my
yes,
thought.
yes. Sorry, yes,
Then we can talk. But there's one. It's important part is family-based
yes.
immigration.
Mm-hmm.
Family-based immigration. One of the things Trump wanted to do before he was elected was to remove the idea that if you are born in the United States, you are automatically a U.S. citizen. He doesn't
Right.
want citizenship by birth to stand.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what they are going to do with that. I also suspect that they may want to act against immigration for extended family. For example, brothers or sisters sponsoring their siblings. They might remove some of that. And I'm getting some of these ideas from the law that was passed by the Senate in a bipartisan manner a couple of years ago when they did a comprehensive immigration reform. The emphasis was more on education and skill. So even PhDs from other countries were being given some special dispensation. And that might be followed through again. We do expect that in the first quarter of the next year, things will become clearer and they will start happening. I do want to cover some more specific issues that were tweeted over to me, and I think they're important to cover. But Kamalji, you had a question. Why don't you go ahead, please?
No, Rajivji, this was actually regarding the election results. I was watching on Facebook, and the reactions, the kind of reactions people were giving, or you could see people really, really scared. And of course, we all saw that the immigration site of Canada had crashed. So that just shows the kind of fear people have in mind. So it's really nice the way you're putting things, and I'm sure a lot of people listening in today will have their fears, put down to rest, some of them at least. And it was really nice the way Hillary Clinton put it in her speech, where she said that we owe him an open mind and a chance to lead. So I'm sure, with the passing months, things should not be as bad as envisaged by a lot of people.
I certainly hope so. And
Right.
somebody was discussing one of the journalists was talking to me yesterday about it, and I think
Mm-hmm.
I felt what I said was right. I said I don't think Trump will change the office of the presidency, but the office of the presidency might change Trump. And that's what we can hope for. That
Absolutely.
once he has nothing to prove any longer, he has won, he might be acting as the president of the people rather than the president of just a minority. So
Mm-hmm. And
let me
that's what he said.
right.
That's what he said. Yes.
Let me cover a couple of quick points that people brought up in tweets to me.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody had asked me, is it gonna be tougher for Muslims to enter USA? And I said, I am guessing it should not be tougher for Muslims from countries other than those that are extensively radicalized. So we don't have any way of knowing this for sure, but I think that's what's going to happen eventually. That they'll be more careful with countries where there is extensive radicalization. Then,
Right.
then about student visas, somebody was asking me again, tweeting to me, and you can't see my screen. I'm actually recording the screen. It says, are we going to have a difficult time getting a student visa? And I said, I don't know, but I hope and I think that the election rhetoric will not be implemented in practice. And I don't think student visas should become any more difficult than they are already. And then,
In fact, coming to this point, there are a lot of students who were, applying for or sorting out universities in the United States, and I just got a feeder from them saying that they've just dropped the idea now. So I hope it's not going to be bad for them. I
no,
hope the universities still remain open for Indians. And of course, there was this news which showed a lot of good light, saying that Indians do not need to really worry about the election results that have taken place in the United States.
well, I don't think anybody needs to worry about it because I don't see any reason for Trump administration to clamp down upon student visas. I think it will remain pretty much the same. But I don't know what they plan to do about their avowed goal of being more circumspect, more careful with people coming from countries that are radicalized. Now, another question that is of major concern to people is what happens to my pending green card? I have a green card going through my employer. And I said nothing. The process continues. Changes in laws are not retroactive. Under Article 1 of the US Constitution, government cannot make ex post facto laws. You can't change the rights that have been given. Of course, there are some exceptions to that. But as a general matter, I don't think it should be a problem. Then people ask me, what about my RFE? If I have a request for evidence, does that get affected? And again, I said, no, I don't see why. Somebody asked me about H4EAD. Is that program going to go away? And again, I said, no, I don't see why any of those programs should be affected. Of course,
True.
what government can give by regulation, they can take away by regulation. But I don't see that being as a real immediate priority for this government. Well, of course, we are carefully watching everything. I would encourage people to stay alert. They are welcome to follow my tweets. They are welcome to join me on Facebook, on Google Plus. Just go to immigration.com, and you have all our social media links on the top. So there are other places you can go as well. So just follow and keep abreast of what is going on. We will of course keep everybody informed. Kamalji, did you have any other questions? That was pretty much what I wanted to cover.
Yes, Rajivji, that is all that we have from our end as well. So thank you so much for this detailed discussion. I will, I'm sure a lot of people, a lot of our listeners here will definitely benefit from this. And thank you so much once again for sparing your time with us.
It is always a pleasure and a delight. And to all our listeners, thank you for listening. And I am honored to be able to participate in your discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajivji.
Bye bye. Every other Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we host free community conference calls. Everybody is welcome to join. Some people post questions ahead of time. You can take membership in our forums. All of the details are there on our website, immigration.com. You can take membership ahead of time, and you know, it's instantaneous. It happens right away. And post your questions beforehand, or you can just log in. The phone number and all are provided: 202 800 8394, 12:30 Eastern Standard Time every other Thursday. We have free apps for both Apple iOS platform for your iPhones and iPads, as well as for Android. Just look for immigration.com, the period dot, and the application should show up.